You're sitting around a fire. It's 30,000 years ago. The sun went down hours ago. There's no clock, no calendar, no idea what day it is, because days don't have numbers yet. There's just the fire, the dark, and maybe a dozen people you'd recognize anywhere. And then somebody across the flames makes a sound, short, maybe 2 syllables, and one specific head snaps up. That's it. That's the whole moment. But stop and think about what just happened, because it's quietly one of the most human things that has ever taken place. Out of a whole group of people, one little sound reached across the dark and grabbed exactly one of them. Not, hey, not you. A name. So here's a question that sounds simple and absolutely is not. Did ancient humans have names? The people who lived before history, before writing, before any of the stuff we keep records of. Did they have a word that meant you? That one, the one I'm calling, the one I love? The short answer is yes. Almost certainly yes. But there's a catch buried in this, and it is genuinely haunting. Because here's the thing nobody tells you. You are never going to hear a single one of those names. Not one, ever. Here's why. A name is just a sound. It exists in the air for about half a second, and then it's gone. The only reason we know any name from the deep past is writing, and writing is shockingly, almost insultingly new. Humans have been around looking and thinking basically like you for 200,000 to 300,000 years. Writing? Barely 5,000. Sit with that gap for a second. For more than 95% of the human story, every name ever spoken, every come here, every where are you, every name a mother breathed over a brand new baby, disappeared the instant the sound faded. Tens of billions of people, whole lives, loved, called to, missed when they died, and not one of their names survived. Not one. An entire ocean of names gone, with no recording left behind. Okay. But if nobody wrote anything down, how can we be so sure they had names at all? Good question. The answer is that names are what researchers call a human universal. Every single human society ever found, everyone, 0 exceptions, uses personal names. There has never been a culture discovered anywhere on Earth, no matter how remote or how cut off, where people just don't have them. And when something shows up in literally every human group everywhere, that's a giant flashing arrow pointing straight back to our deepest shared roots. On top of that, names need language. And language is old. The equipment in your throat and the wiring in your skull that let you talk were already in place tens of thousands of years before anyone scratched the first symbol into anything. Now let me throw something at you that sounds wild but is taken completely seriously. Naming might be older than humans, like older than our entire species. Dolphins have what scientists call signature whistles. Each dolphin invents its own unique sound, basically a name, and other dolphins will copy that exact whistle to get its attention. Call it across the water, and the right dolphin turns around. Elephants seem to do it too. There's solid evidence they call to each other with specific individual sounds, and an elephant will react to its own call and flat out ignore everyone else's. Think about what that means. The instinct to wrap one living creature in one sound and use it to reach across a distance might be millions of years old. By the time humans showed up, we may not have invented names at all. We might have just inherited them. So what did these lost names actually sound like? Well, we can't know for sure, but we can make a really good guess, because we can watch how naming works when you strip it down to the bone. Early names were almost certainly descriptive, not abstract labels, pictures. You got named for what you looked like, what you did, where you were born, or whatever happened the day you showed up. Little Bear, Scar, born in snow, the one who laughs too loud, Red, names you could practically see. A name back then wasn't a random tag somebody handed you in a hospital. It was a tiny story about you, said out loud every single day of your life. And here's the part almost nobody appreciates. A name is secretly a superpower. Think about what it actually does. It lets you talk about a person who isn't there. That sounds like nothing. It is not nothing. The second you can say a name, you can plan around someone who's off hunting. You can warn the group about a guy who left an hour ago. You can gossip. You can tell your kids about a grandmother who died before they were born. You can mourn someone by name for the rest of your life. A name turns a human being into an idea that travels. Out of the room, across the camp, across entire generations. That little two-syllable sound is one of the oldest pieces of technology our species ever built. And basically, nobody thinks of it as an invention. And because a name could do all that, ancient people treated it like it was sacred, sometimes literally. In culture after culture, a name wasn't just what you were called. It held a piece of who you actually were. Plenty of people had a public name everybody used and a secret real name almost nobody knew, because to know someone's true name was to have power over them. Babies went unnamed for days or weeks until a ceremony made it official, as if you weren't fully a person yet until you had a name to carry. To us, a name is a label. To them, it was practically a soul with a sound attached. So what's the oldest name we've actually got? The oldest name of a real, specific person written down anywhere belongs to someone called Kushim. And brace yourself because it's gloriously anticlimactic. Kushim wasn't a king, not a hero, not a god, not a warrior who conquered the world. Kushim, as far as anyone can tell, was an accountant. The name shows up on old records tracking goods, basically a receipt. The first human whose name we can still read across thousands of years got remembered not for love, not for glory, not for war, but because somebody had to sign off on a shipment of grain. Honestly, incredible. The oldest name in human history is on a spreadsheet. But let's be honest about what Kushim really is. A fluke. The one name lucky enough to get pressed into something hard enough to survive. For every Kushim, there are billions who didn't make it. And here's the thought I can't shake, the one that makes this personal. Yours is probably one of them. Be honest. Can you name all 8 of your great-great-grandparents? Most people can't get past 3. These were real people. The whole reason you exist. Everyone with a name someone called out in love 1,000 times. And in about a century, the sound of it is just gone. That's not ancient history. That's you. So, did ancient humans have names? Of course they did. They called each other across clearings and around fires for tens of thousands of years. They named their children, mourned their dead, whispered sounds that meant you, the one I love, and every last one of those names dissolved into the air and was lost forever. But picture that fire one more time. The voice in the dark, the single head that turns. You'll never know that name, but you know exactly what it felt like. Because someone has called yours the same way. That one little sound that, out of everyone alive, means only you. That hasn't changed in 30,000 years, and it might just be the one thing about being human that never does.